Alright, I've gone out and asked the audience for their thoughts on what the book had to say. Let's hear them out, and then I'll share my thoughts on the matter. We'll start out with the Flat Earth Debate Forum. Just a heads up, that group is full of trolls.
Enemy spotted.
You need to start by acknowledging that the bulge, although measurable with modern equipment, is too small to be visible.
What equipment? When and where has it ever been measured? Pity.
What an imbecilic grift.
Dang, all I did was ask you for your thoughts on what the book said, without giving any opinion of my own, telling you I'd share my thoughts later. But hey, when the devil and his army of trolls rail against you, that only tells me that you're fighting on the right side.
The French government's geodesic mission to Peru, which began in 1735, measured the Earth's equatorial bulge. The mission's findings confirmed that the Earth is not a sphere, but rather an oblate spheroid, meaning it is slightly flattened at the poles and bulges at the equator.
Cool story. Was it on land? Was it on water? How accurate do you think they were?
What's happening here? LOL.
I'm talking about the universe, black holes, the Big Bang, time travel, God. But what I'm going to do is teach you how to think. Train your mind. In the old days, we called it brainwashing, where you repeat something and then it becomes true. That's hijacking this feature of our evolutionary brain. So you try to sift through what is true, and it must be that which was repeated often enough. You are comfortable in your ignorance, and you don't even know your ignorance because you came to it from having learned, but only up to a point. They're not only controlling the information you receive, they're shaping how you receive it, which has an effect on how you then behave. How you create a worldview. You create an understanding of how things are, either because someone convinced you or you convinced yourself. Now there's a gap, or there's some information that conflicts with it. So you're going to say, if you cherish this worldview, that information that conflicts with it was falsified, or that was wrong. They don't know what they're doing. You can maintain your worldview.
We hold on. I spent so many years learning something, and now the world has changed.
The interesting thing about an objective truth is that it's true no matter what. Imagine that.
People need to understand to control their minds, otherwise other people will control it for them.
And you have no foundation in objective reality, it can be dangerous. If your personal belief system does not have correspondence in objective reality, that's an unhealthy situation for civilization to be in.
Objective reality. That is provable reality. I agree. It is really unhealthy to be of the mindset that science never proves anything. That's powerful stuff. It certainly makes me think about this book. How does it start? It tells you that the Earth is a globe, floating in outer space. And then it tells you that the globe is bulging at the equator. They haven't given you a single reason to believe that. All they're just doing is saying, "Trust me, bro. It's a globe."
In the old days, we called it brainwashing, where you repeat something and then it becomes true. You try to sift through what is true, and it must be that which was repeated often enough.
The book explains it pretty well. Nuff said.
The book claims that when you spin the ball will begin to bulge around the center. Now here's my addition. Put a drop of water on a plate and spin around. Notice how the water moves toward the edge and likely flies off. It is the same concept. If the spin of the Earth can cause land and water to bulge at the center, the spin should be able to move a small drop of water on a plate without you spinning it. When this doesn't happen, that tells you that the Earth does not spin. Mike Thompson, do you agree that the water moving on the plate is the same concept as the bulging ball?
I think you are overestimating the centrifugal force compared to the force of gravity. It is minuscule. In fact, the ratio between the centrifugal, outward, force and gravitational, inward, is 0.0034.
I acknowledge your choice not to answer my question. Mike Thompson, do you agree that the water moving on the plate is the same concept as the bulging ball?
Absolutely. But spin the plate once per day, and the water will barely move, or not move at all, because the energy needed to move it will not surpass the friction and surface tension it's under. Then make the plate weigh 5.97 sextillion tons and the water will be under a much greater force pulling it towards the plate. Like I said, you are failing to understand. I'm trying to help.
Yet it's strong enough to move the oceans? You appear to be contradicting yourself by claiming that the spin of the Earth both is and isn't strong enough to move water.
The oceans move due to the gravity of the moon. The force of gravity is a tiny bit less as you approach the equator, and this has affected the land during the formation of the Earth. I never claimed anything about the centrifugal force moving oceans. It is all about net force.
The demonstration with the ball doesn't say anything about the moon. The book says the spin of the Earth causes the bulge. Are you saying the book is wrong?
No, I said it affected the land during the formation of the Earth. You equated, pun intended, that to the oceans, which is incorrect.
It can move land, but it can't move water?
Why are you making this hard for yourself? Net force is what matters. The oceans keep moving and the moon is the biggest influence outside of the Earth's own gravity. This is understood by most people. I even did the maths and basic steps for you, which you ignored.
I acknowledge your choice not to answer the question. As I said, this book claims the bulge is caused by the spin of the Earth. I also have 2 different textbooks that claim the same thing, with no mention of the moon. You appear to be calling them all wrong.
So you spin, when you spin pizza dough, it kind of flattens out.
Yeah.
Gets wider in the middle. And so Earth, throughout its life, even when it formed, it was spinning. And it got a little wider at the equator than it does at the poles. So it's not actually a sphere. It's oblate. And officially it's an oblate spheroid. That's what we call it. But not only that, it's slightly wider below the equator than above the equator.
A little chubbier.
Yeah. Chubby's a good word. It's like pear-shaped.
Yeah.
So, it turns out the pear-shapedness is bigger than the height of Mount Everest above sea level.
Yeah, he is talking about the spin of the Earth moving both land and water there. Now here's a different demonstration. Take a balloon, tie it to a chair. If there's no wind blowing on it, it should stand straight up. If the Earth was spinning, however, it should tilt and point towards the equator.
Okay, question number 2.
But you gotta know, let me just so you understand. We've been fed a lie our entire, I want to call it a lie. We've been fed.
It's a point of view thing, I think.
Earth has been misrepresented to us by geologists.
I fully agree, Neil. The Flat Earth Collective.
If it bulges as they claim, we should have the Nile going up through hundreds of kilometers and down through more to reach the Mediterranean. Have we ever seen a river go up? No way. Rivers follow the slopes down, always.
In his 1881 and 1887 experiments, Albert Michelson discovered the Earth was not moving around the Sun. As Michelson himself described the results of his own experiment, this conclusion directly contradicts the explanation, which presupposes that the Earth moves.
Wow, that is a really powerful quote from the American Journal of Science in 1881. That's an amazing find, Jaren. Thank you for sharing. Now here is one of my other thoughts concerning the book's claim that the Earth is in outer space. If you put a vacuum above your head and break the seal from underneath, gravity won't stop the air from rushing in. Therefore, if the Earth is a ball in the vacuum of space, gravity would not be strong enough to make all the air stick. All the air would just fly off into outer space. It will seek to fill the void. Thank you all for participating. There's a lot more to this book, So I hope to keep the conversations going. I look forward to next time. Thank you all for watching. This message has been brought to you by the Flat Earth Institute of Science, with a shout out to our Flat Earth friends at jadecals.com.
The globe Earth model claims Earth's rotational speed is 1,038 miles per hour. Earth's orbital speed is 66,600 miles per hour. The Sun's orbital speed is 500,000 miles per hour, and our galactic speed through space is 1,300,000 miles per hour. Do you feel the motion?
Behold, the key to feeling the Earth spin.